Well, before we open the forum up to questions from our audience, John is going to show some examples of restored historic structures as well as new buildings or additions in an historic setting.
This is a project that we did. It's along Liberty Avenue. You can see the before picture there on the lower left. And what we did was salvage. It was basically the upper floors were pretty much intact. So it was a matter of just, again, like Peter was talking about, sort of restoring those. The major change was on the lower level, where the only element that we saved was the center cast iron column, and then reconfigured a new storefront there. This is a familiar project right here on East Carson Street. Again, on the lower right, you can see the before picture and then the transformation. This is a new structure. Again, the before picture is in the lower right-hand corner. Ideally, I would have liked to have seen this be a three-story building, but it was a two-story building, and basically what we did was only redo about the first 60 feet of the building. And it's of a style that's not typical on the south side. It's more typical of, the basic partie of it is more typical of buildings of early 20th century, and you'll see some examples of this type of a building in East Liberty and on the north side. Not quite as contemporary as this, but the basic idea of sort of a center portion bookended by more solid masonry. Unfortunately, this building is now empty, and it would be nice if it were sort of a nice retail. It's sort of made for something like a Crate and Barrel or something like that, which would be great to have something like that here. This is not a commercial building or a residential building, but it is the South Stadium, and you can see again sort of before on the right there. And basically we added an extra story to the press box and completely refaced the facade with new brick, stone, metal siding, and added the banner. So you can sort of revitalize areas in many ways, and this sort of added a lot of street excitement, value to the street.
Well, and I would say thank you for this, because this is, the way this turned out is a really wonderful thing for the city and the kids who use that stadium, and to see, just how much more ornate it is after what you did to it. It's great.
Thank you. This is Mifflin Elementary School, and this was a real challenge. There was an Art Deco original building, which is on the right, which is hard to see, but like in the mid-30s. And then in the mid-50s, they added a very modernist building, which is way in the background there, and you can see part of it. It was an L-shaped addition. But this was a very vibrant neighborhood, and the school was really the center of the activity of not a very distinguished architectural residential neighborhood. And what they needed to address were ADA. They needed to be able to have this building accessible because there were steps everywhere. So we ended up adding 2 elevators, one in the original 1930s building and a new tower there that has an elevator in it. And to create the new addition, created a new gym and cafeteria.
That's something you don't think about, but I believe the ADA is just at over 20 years now. So as these buildings are renovated, all of that has to be done.
Right. You can see the one lower picture on the lower right. The housing stock is not historic or high end, obviously, but the building itself, the school, is the center of the community, and
right.
It really needed that kind of attention. Again, back to sort of creating a building. And again, this was sort of marketing. We needed to market the South Side. It's hard to believe that you had to market the South Side, in the 70s, but this was something that there was a building in that lot. It was a furniture store, Jacob's Furniture, which burned down. It was a beautiful, ornate building, which unfortunately suffered a fatal fire, and so we ended up with a vacant lot. And so we just designed a park and created this mural.
Are awnings ever going to make a comeback, do you think?
There are some along Carson Street. We try to promote that, yeah. This is the project I was talking about in Market Square Place, where 7 distinct buildings were combined to form a complex. There are 48 workforce apartments that are really great. They're each one of them are very distinct from each other because of the layout that we had to deal with. The YMCA is relocated there, and ground floor retail. And this was a deck that all the tenants can in the space can use. And this is also gold LEED certified.
All right, very nice. Thank you.